Reclaim your time. Time.
Welcome to AI Advocates. I'm Maggie Mosher.
Hi, I'm Lisa Dieker, and we're back.
We're excited to talk to you today about what does pivoting look like in AI. Go ahead and start us off.
Well, so, we were talking about why you should change. Now we're like, okay, just change. I mean, I think that's terrible, but that's who we both are. And so I think when you think about pivoting and making that change, our last season, if you didn't listen, was all on like the week by week change. Once you've kind of got your feet wet, then it's like, okay, what's the problem of the week? What's the problem of the day? Is it that the kid sitting in front of me is bored? That's a different problem of, can you give me some enrichment ideas? Or another great example in a school in a classroom was as teachers were teaching the short A sound. And they were like, yeah, it's just not working. And I'm like, oh, let's ask AI. And it's like, oh, let's play the scaredy cat game. And all day long that day, when they said anything with a short A, the kids had like, oh, and again, fun, engaging. And so I like to say that AI right now is my second brain.
Mm-hmm.
And when this one is done, I go to that one. So now you just came back from an international conference. What did you?
Yeah, what I learned mostly when I was at the Digital Education Council is that I was surprised by how much the K-12 teachers we work with, how far ahead they were. For some reason, I thought that like Hong Kong and China, and they would be so much farther ahead. But our K-12 teachers are farther ahead in really integrating AI in a way that makes sense and changing the way they teach.
Makes sense.
But I was also saddened because it didn't feel that way when it comes to university.
Okay.
And so the universities over there were much farther ahead in that their publications and their research and what they're getting out seemed like it was much more at a level where they've been doing it for a few years longer than we have. And so there was a structure and there was a process. And then I forget about things like there are certain AI in Hong Kong that's illegal to use.
Yeah.
And so I've been like, oh, am I doing something illegal by getting on something I don't know? But it won't even let me get onto certain AI.
Yeah.
And so thinking about with the different people in the room, there are people there from the European Union who have laws about AI use. We don't currently in the US. Are we getting some? We don't know. Will that change things for us?
Yeah.
We can't predict that yet.
Yes.
We didn't predict we'd be where we are currently in our society. And so you can't really predict where we're going.
Right.
So how do we essentially continue to move forward at a pace that really keeps us innovative and effective as US citizens moving things along and collaborative with a worldwide picture, but also keep kids safe, keep kids secure,
Big
sure, with the things that are going on in the world, like kids chatting with chatbots about mental health stuff and a chatbot that wasn't correct or appropriate for them. So how do we make sure chatbots and AI that our kids are on are FERPA and COPA compliant, are filled with their base knowledge? How do we make sure that base knowledge is actually teacher created work and actually, stuff we know is accurate, like textbooks, who vetted this? Is it peer reviewed? Like, how do I know that how do we make sure they're going to those specific large language models and not others?
Well, and I was watching this morning and I saw that Roblox now is going to scan your face with AI, similar to what we do on our phone, but it's going to scan you for your age.
Oh,
and if it, I was like, well, I thought about that. I think we'll come out over 18, just so you know, over 18. But if you're under 18, it's going to say, well, you seem to be in the category of 10 to 12. So I'm going to let you meet other 10 to 12-year-olds. So we don't have, they've had some lawsuits, as I understand. So I think you and I both at our heart say teachers use it in any way you can to get what I think we outdo the rest of the world in scores is creative thinking. We produce more patents. Again, you can argue this all day, but again, that's what teachers are really good at, is creating kids who think differently, because we don't have a robotic method of everybody learns this on this day at this moment at this time. And I think that's where we see some forward thinking, but that's where I think we have to pivot, is not just to creativity, but to keep adding overlays for safety.
Agreed. And what I loved about the Digital Education Council too is most of the people there were actually business and industry and not necessarily education. And what was helpful in that business and industry was knowing what they want from us as educators, but also telling them what we want from them.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you're going to have my kids on your chatbot, this is what I want your chatbot to make sure to do. I don't want these kids to have you asking them to put their picture in and that going somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't want my kids' ideas stolen
Yeah.
and no longer theirs. Like, I want them to be safe. And so it was good to be able to talk to the people creating the software and the people who are creating these jobs and saying, you want this from us? You want critical thinkers? You want kids who can communicate? You want people who are hardworking? Great. I want from you safety. I want from you security. I want from you accuracy. I want from you all of these other pieces.
And I know we've talked about this before, but give me the top 2 for you, and I'll share the ones for me that you're like, yeah, pick these 2 if you want kid use. Teacher use, we are like, figured out. You're an adult, don't do anything crazy. Don't put kids' identification in there. But as an adult, you can make those choices, and we should know better. We know HIPAA, FERPA, but what do you think's best protection for kids?
So for me, it depends on the age level. So what I will say is equally Magic School AI, and Brisk AI, depending on your age level. For K-12 kids, that's my favorite, and Boodlebox are my favorite. For secondary, for graduate and undergraduate. Why do I choose those? Because they're all FERPA and COPA compliant. I like Magic School, School AI, and Brisk because they essentially will show me everything the student said with the chatbot. And so I can see every conversation they had. I can see the answers that were given. I can then talk to them later about it. Did you think that AI was right when it said this? Why did you question that? It flags them for me. So if they use a word, like I used the word music beat and it flagged me for saying beat, it was like, oh, okay. So it'll flag them, and that's helpful. It'll also tell me how interactive they are. Are they moderately interacting, or are they really bored?
Yeah.
Are they really interacting? I like that. The reason I love Boodlebox is for a totally different reason. I can create a chatbot there with just my content, and I can put just my students in it. And again, it's FERPA COPA compliant, so it doesn't leave my computer. If it goes to the server in my school, it is already encrypted, but my students can talk to the same chatbot.
Okay.
And so they can collaborate in a way, because I don't want AI to take away from collaboration and communication. So they can talk and they can hear what each other are asking the chatbot and see what the responses are. And I like that.
So my 2, again, I liked everything you said too, but I'm really big into the notebook, Google Notebook LM, when especially what's in the EDU unit. So do make sure you're not using it, as a general, but in the EDU world with your EDU account, it's protected. And so I've actually got my college syllabus in there. And it's funny because I'm just wrapping up the semester, and I'm using the questions the student to ask other AI tools that are not FERPA compliant to tell me how to improve my syllabus next semester. So maybe those questions don't have to be asked. So again, it's an example for a high school teacher. If the bot asks you 400 times about an assignment and it got asked for it, maybe it's your assignment. That's what I'm learning. I have one assignment I'm pretty sure I'm changing. My second that I know you equally like and we believe is, for the good of society too, is Kanamigo. And again, I like it too because it does have an underlying a little stronger in STEM, whereas I feel like some of the others are a little more language arts focused, and it really does stem better with discourse. So for my STEM friends, I would probably go there first.
And all of the ones we mentioned, what I think is really cool about it is we mentioned all that have over 40 languages that they translate to, which is nice too. So you've got all these different languages, and every one of those will let you change readability level.
I was going to say very accessible.
I love that. I can say keep my vocabulary at an 8th grade level, but put my readability as 3rd grade level. That is all really important for our students. And then I love that you said the 2 others that are my favorite, because one thing that's interesting about Notebook LM lately is it will let me choose when I'm looking at the podcast or the video. It lets me choose if I want it to be a debate partner when they talk to it, or if I want it to be a comprehensive person. And we found that students actually feel safer talking sometimes to a bot than they do asking us the same question, because they think sometimes
maybe because we talk too fast,
or they think we'll think that they don't know what they're talking about, or they'll think, oh, was I not paying attention if he already told me that? I don't want to be that person. So I do think it's got a lot of things. How does it?
Yeah. So my last thought is that I think it's interesting that as we move into these agents world, to think about things like, as you mentioned in Notebook LM, like that my syllabus can have a video, and it can have a chat pod, and it can have a mind map, and it can have, it can have flashcards. So I may actually next semester have quizzes, but one of the things I'm dreaming about in pivoting is maybe my students having their own personal agents that are talking to the other agents in the class because I don't find they all want to chat equally. So I don't know, but that's kind of where I'm pivoting in my brain, and who knows, but that's what.
Yeah, my last thought would be what I liked about the teachers I was working with the other day is that they wanted to make bots that actually sound back and forth like pirates or characters.
Yeah.
And there are only so many voices, but if you put in really specific prompts, you can still get it with that voice to sound like a pirate.
Yeah.
Or to sound like a
Or
English chef.
release.
Yes, or to. So what was nice about that is it let them kind of be creative and fun.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to worry as much about, okay, is this going to take me 20 hours to create this creative, fun thing? Or could my students create it and stay safe and create it themselves? I think that was really fun and exciting when you kind of looked at the whole picture. So I'm excited about what it means going forward.
I think there's 2 lessons then in this one. Pivoting can be fun and it can save you time. So thanks for joining us.